Right now, we break in with some breaking news here in Broncos country. The vote is done, and it is officially official. The Broncos' new era has begun. Of course, we are talking about the vote on the sale of the Broncos.
We sure are. Today, the NFL owners voted in Minneapolis to officially approve the sale. The results came in within the last few minutes. Now, the home team belongs to the Walton-Penner Group.
Right now, Roger Goodell, the NFL commissioner, is talking. Let's listen in.
I think it's a credit to all of them. And of course, to Joe Ellis and the trustees, to the Bolin family, who I'd like to speak a little bit more about. And I think the advisors that everyone had really helped it along the way. But this is the first, I guess the fifth ownership in the 62-year history of the Broncos. But the Broncos were owned by the Bolin family, and Pat in particular, and his brothers for a very long period of time. And he made extraordinary contributions to the league. Many of us talked about it in the room. He was not just a Hall of Famer, but he was a friend and someone who cared deeply about the league, the Broncos, the Denver community. And we're going to miss him along the way, and his family, we want to thank them for all that they've done for the National Football League. They've been extraordinary partners. But we're also very excited about the new partners. This is a group that is going to be great for the Denver community. Their commitment to winning, but more importantly, their commitment to making sure the Broncos franchise is an important part of the Denver community. So we're thrilled about that. One last comment before I do hand it off. I do want to thank Joe Ellis and the trustees for their incredible work. Sometimes a difficult road, but the leadership that they have shown over the last several years under difficult circumstances and many times has been really remarkable. Something that we appreciate as a league, and I know that the Denver community does also. So thank you to them. So Rob, I'll hand it off to you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You bet.
Thank you, everybody. It's great to see you today, and I'd like to thank Roger Goodell, Commissioner Goodell, and we're just so excited to become officially a part of the Broncos. It's a big, big day for us, really, really exciting. It's been a great process, and I want to extend the thanks to all the owners that we've been involved with. Their warm greeting and support as we've met them along the way, and we haven't met all of them yet, but we're getting close, has just been good. It's a real, a very wonderful group to become associated with. We want to acknowledge Pat Bolin's outstanding legacy also, as well as the family. Pat's leadership and commitment to build a successful team and business, and we'll continue to build on that. Putting a winning team on the field is our #1 priority. We can't wait to get to Denver, join our new colleagues, and get to work. I'm pleased to be here with my daughter, Carrie, my son-in-law, Greg. Working together as a family is going to be great fun on this project. It's a good business, but it's a fun business, and we're going to enjoy it. Mostly, we're just honored to steward this historic franchise, and we appreciate the opportunity. Carrie?
Thank you, Dad. Good afternoon. It's great to be here. This is an incredible day for our family, and we look forward to getting back to Denver tomorrow to start day one on the ground. Every step of this process has been fantastic. It's made us more excited each step of the way to become a part of the NFL, but also especially part of the Denver Broncos and the Denver community. Like my dad said, we're excited to put a winning team on the field. We also know it's important to excel off the field as well, both in our community and across the league. That's true for our incredible group of leaders that we're fortunate to count as members of the ownership group. Melody Hobson, Condoleezza Rice, as well as Lewis Hamilton. They'll be with us tomorrow. We're committed to making sure the Denver Broncos are the best team to play for, to work for, and to cheer for. We can't wait to get back tomorrow and get this started. Thank you.
Thank you, Carrie. Well, we could not be more excited to officially take ownership and lead the Broncos. As my good friend and former 49er, Harris Barton, said to me last week, this will be one of the most fun and satisfying things that you do in your life. It's also a responsibility and a privilege. The Broncos are an iconic franchise that means a lot to Colorado and the whole Rocky Mountain region. We have enormous respect for Pat Bowlen and what he meant both to the Broncos and the NFL. We also appreciate Joe Ellis's guidance through this process and are grateful that he's agreed to stay on and serve as an advisor for the coming season. Thank you, Joe. We know our fans' expectations are high, and we embrace that. We're really anxious to get started, and we want to compete, and we want to win. Thank you to all the NFL owners today for their vote of confidence, and we just, again, couldn't be more excited to be here, get back to Denver, and get started. With that, we'll open it up and take a few questions.
Our first question will come from Ryan from Denver Post.
Hi, Rob. Ryan O'Halloran from the Denver Post. Two parts for you. What made this the right fit for you and your family to get involved with a sports franchise? And I have a follow-up after that.
Okay, the Broncos are the one sports franchise that we would have considered buying, and it's just, well, Greg actually, as he mentioned, started conversations 10 years ago about it. Then things, the team actually announced it was for sale early this year, and we got in the middle of it first thing. We'd been talking about it, and we have connections. Greg and Carrie live in Colorado. I've been going to Colorado. I have a home there for a long, long time. Other family members there. So great connection for us. We're really excited about it. And it's just a terrific team, terrific fan base.
As a follow-up, you added 3 limited partners. What was intriguing about their business experience, their backgrounds to join your team?
Yeah, as we started thinking about partners, we wanted to get people with tremendous capacity. We think the diversity is important. We think diverse organizations are more successful organizations, and we're looking forward to working with them. They're off traveling and doing other things right now, but we'll all be together, except Lewis, who's in the middle of a season, but the rest of us will be together tomorrow. Thank you.
Yes, for either the Penners or Mr. Walton, I know you guys have toured Empower Field at Mile High. What do you think of the facility there, and are you considering building a new stadium soon?
Well, today is really about the first step in ownership, and premature to start talking about a new stadium. I'll say that Empire Field at Mile High is a world-class facility. It's hosted, obviously, football games, terrific other sporting events, and entertainment events. We've got a good partnership with the Metropolitan Football Stadium District, and fortunately have almost 10 years left on our lease. So we'll evaluate all of our options and really, dig in and understand the situation before making any decision.
James Palmer with NFL Network. You guys know, obviously, very well that you're taking over for a Hall of Fame owner in Pat Bowlen and what he did to make this a winning franchise. You saw all that when you were going over this process. Now, when you take an early look, what improvements kind of right away or changes that you're looking at that puts your imprint on it early on? Do you have anything already there in thought?
You want to take that?
Pat Bowlen created an incredible legacy in the Broncos, and he leaves big shoes to fill. We look forward to continuing to build on that legacy, and as we continue to work with the community as well as within the organization to continue to strengthen what he created, we'll be doing that. As we have changes that we're making, we'll make sure to let you all know, but right now we're just focused on getting back to Denver tomorrow and getting started with this. So thank you.
Rob, Ed Werder, right over here to your left with ESPN. My question is, in this record transaction, you inherit a first-year general manager in George Payton and a first-time head coach in the NFL in Nathaniel Hackett. What's your confidence level in them, and how do you evaluate them going forward?
Well, we couldn't be happier with both the coach and our general manager. As we looked at this from the early days, we thought we might get here without a coach and without a quarterback and a new general manager. And Joe Ellis and the trustees and George came up with an outstanding coach, I think, and Nathaniel. And they'll have to perform, but we think we got the pieces to really fit together and have a great season. We're very excited.
Just for each of you or any of you, can you elaborate on, did you discuss it with Pat Bowlen 10 years ago, or how did that come about?
No, we didn't. Unfortunately, when we started some conversations here, it was when his health was, he was ailing, and so he actually, at that time, wasn't in the public that much. So we did not have conversations with Pat. Would have, now looking back, of course, we would have loved to have had that interaction with him because we've heard so much about him and the impact that he's had. Oh, these were just informal conversations, yeah, going back. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, at this time, let's have a quick photo. All right. Get your helmet.
Yeah.
All right, we were just listening to Roger Goodell, the NFL commissioner, speaking along with the new owners of the Broncos, Rob Walton, his daughter Carrie Walton-Penner, as well as his son-in-law Greg Penner. You heard them talking a lot about what they look forward to most about this team. Of course, this is very early. The deal has just become official for them. But I think one thing we heard a lot, and from every single one of them, is they're ready to hit the ground running. And they said they are looking forward to having a winning team. They seem to have a lot of confidence in what they have right now, even with some new pieces of the puzzle kind of falling into place a little bit before this sale became official, but definitely a lot of excitement on their end. And it sounds like they're going to get started right away. They talked about hitting the ground come tomorrow, starting tomorrow.
They'll be back in Denver.
They'll be back in Denver. They said every single person who is a part of that ownership group, a reminder for you who that is. Again, of course, Rob Walton, who is the heir to the Walmart fortune, his daughter Carrie Walton-Penner, his son-in-law Greg Penner. But then on top of the fact, you also have Melody Hobson, who is a big deal for Starbucks, also the first, I want to say, woman of color to have to lead an S&P 500 company.
Condoleezza Rice.
Condoleezza Rice, the former Secretary of State. You also have Sir Lewis Hamilton, a world-renowned F1 champion. He's actually going to be the only one, they said, who will not be here tomorrow.
He's
of course,
racing.
And he's in the middle of a season right now. He's got kind of his own work to do. But you heard Rob Walton there express a lot of confidence, saying that he could not be happier with the coach he has, the GM he has, the quarterback that he has. He said, we think we have all of the pieces in place, and we are looking forward to this team as well as the upcoming season.
They talked about how important it is to have diversity as well with the partners, and that's important for the NFL as well. Like you said, we definitely heard over and over and over having a #1 winning team, excelling on and off the field, and just they're excited to get into it and have fun this season. And again, be back in Denver. They said that a lot because they have those Colorado connections with Carrie and Greg being here, and Rob said they have a home here as well. So they're just really proud to be here and continue the legacy that Pat Bowlen created. They touched on that as well.
And I think I want to go back to what you said about the diversity. He actually specifically said, quote, that he feels that a more diverse organization is a more successful organization. And we certainly see that they believe that with the selection of Melody Hobson, Condoleezza Rice, Lewis Hamilton. They definitely are putting that all into practice here. Of course, as he mentioned, we're going to have to see what actually happens when the season officially gets underway, as they kind of see everything moving around. But again, a lot of confidence in this team. I think it was really special that they made sure to pay tribute and to honor Pat Bowlen, knowing that he's created a, quote, to quote Greg Penner, an iconic franchise. And they said they're not looking to redo what he did. They want to strengthen the franchise that he has already started to build. And I think that's something that a lot of people will really respect who have been fans of this team for a long time. Our Broncos insider Mike Kliss is joining us now. He's live in Minneapolis covering today's vote. Mike, again, we talked about the fact, this wasn't really a surprise. We knew this was going to happen. Still, a very exciting time. And I want to go back to that point. Every single one of them, the big word today for them seemed to be winning. They're really looking forward to having a winning team and a winning season, Mike.
Yeah, that is their priority, they said, winning. And, when you look at the Walton-Penner group with Walmart, obviously it's been a big champion in the discount store world there, and their wealth is, makes them the richest owners in the NFL. They paid the richest price, North American sports record, $4.65 billion. There were a lot of interested investment groups, but once the Waltons got involved, everyone kind of backed off. They knew that they could not be outbid. It is interesting. They have a lot of ties with Colorado. A lot of them have homes. Rob Walton does. His grandchildren also do. The Penners have a home in Colorado. So they have been Bronco fans for a long time. And they started thinking about this, Greg Penner did, when he started talking with Joe Ellis about 10 years ago about the possibility of one day buying the Broncos, and it came true today.
Mike, one thing I want to ask you about, but I believe you actually asked the question there in the crowd. You specifically asked what a lot of people are wondering about a potential new stadium for the Broncos as well. What was the answer to you there?
Yeah, they kind of punted that direct answer. They're already very good at, not answering questions directly. That means that they're polished statesmen here running the Denver Broncos. But it does sound like, there's a lease for 10 years. Mm-hmm. It is my opinion, just from talking to various different people, that the new stadium probably is 10 years away. Again, they didn't say that directly, but they did reference that the lease still has 10 years left on it. They said good things about Empower Field. My guess here, based on their answer, is they're going to put money into Empower Field for a few years, upgrade that stadium. It does need some upgrades, and then start working toward a new stadium on down the road. Again, it's not going to happen within 5 years.
All right, Mike. Well, it looks like you've got your work cut out for you today. Thank you so much for making some time to speak with us this afternoon. We very much appreciate it. And of course, we're going to continue our coverage of the Broncos' new era here when 9 News at Noon begins in just a couple of minutes. Right now, we want to take a quick break.